All right. Speaking of injuries, unfortunately, we got one of the game's budding stars sustaining a injury that's going to keep him out. You guys have been talking about it the entire time for the duration of the season. So the next couple of months, it will be something that he will have to deal with. And the scary thing about this is that this is something that he's going to have to always be checking for. I'm sure a lot of guys do, right? But he's going to have to always kind of keep an eye on this. You don't want to see this recur or anything like that. Blood clots are no joke. So San Antonio's all-star Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. Victor Wembanyama has a form of a blood clot in the right shoulder. He is out for the season. Spurs believe this is an isolated condition. I didn't see that last part. That's good. The Spurs believe that this is something that's not going to linger for him. There was also a video on Wemby that I wanted to go ahead and check out. We'll see what they say. Give it 20 games. They'll be fine. Yeah, I think so. You got to give it time, man. You got to give it time. All right.
Rania, our senior insider, joins us now. Shams, this diagnosis, it was shocking. We just saw Victor play in the All-Star game. What happened between that game Sunday and now?
Malik, I'm told that Victor Wembanyama had started to feel symptomatic, and he went into the post-All-Star break Monday, Tuesday, taking time for himself, taking downtime, and hoped to feel better, but he did not. He was still feeling symptomatic from my understanding, and that's when the Spurs and when Wembanyama started to administer a battery of tests over the last 24 to 48 hours that found this blood clot in his right shoulder, and the sides are now going to huddle on treatment plans and options for a player who's just 21 years old and an ascending star.
Yeah, a really scary diagnosis here. And of course, Shams, there's a history of players in the NBA coming back from blood clots. But what do we know about the timeline for Victor's recovery here?
Malik, I'm told that the San Antonio Spurs fully believe that Wembanyama will make a complete recovery for the 2025-26 season. I'm told that they don't have any long-term concerns, and they believe this is an isolated clot in his right shoulder, that deep vein thrombosis diagnosis, as they called it. And Brandon Ingram in March 2019 had the same diagnosis in his right shoulder. He had a procedure about a week later, and he took him several months to recover from that. And from that point on, he started basketball in the offseason, and then he was an all-star. A one-time all-star he is, and that all-star season came in 2019-2020 with the Pelicans, so the following season. So there is some example here of a player recently in 2019-20 that has made a full recovery from this in Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, you look at Brandon Ingram, maybe Asar Thompson and his recovery from that. Brandon Ingram missed the final 19 games of that season, and then he was able to come back and become an all-star. So we're hopeful that it will be a similar case here for Victor Wembanyama.
But first, a quick word from today's video sponsors, Prize Picks. You guys can get $50 back when you play your first 5, so please do so using the link down below in the description and the promo code Bulletin. So again, link in the description and promo code Bulletin to support our channel. We greatly appreciate it. So today we're going to make some picks, and there's a lot of demons going on here. So we have Aaron Neesmith, 1.5. That's a freebie. We're going to take that. Jaren Allen, 2.5. Another freebie. We are taking that as well. It just with these two, if you enter at $20, you win 90 already. That's pretty expensive. We go over to Kristaps. We're going to pick more on that. And last but not least, we'll take Matherin. So I love the Goblins. That is a big power play. A lot has to go your way, but if things do, that is a big payoff. So all you guys have to do, again, is sign up through the link down below in the description using promo code Bulletin, which helps support the channel. Thank you so much, and back to the video. All right, so that was all pretty interesting. The first thing I'll say is that it's good to hear that they're expecting this to be something that's isolated. They get this done, and yeah, it'll cost them the rest of the season, but that's nothing in comparison to anything else it could have cost them. So that being said, I think that's great. They say that they'll expect him to be back next year, and like I said, this stuff's kind of scary, man. Blood clots are really, really scary for a lot of different reasons, but it was also reassuring to hear that there are other guys that have dealt with some similar stuff recently, like BI a few years ago, and I didn't know Asar was dealing with something similar. And they've been able to come back, and even BI came back and had a all-star season the next year, and I think that's pretty interesting too. And you love to hear that piece of it too. But for the Spurs right now, then nothing really matters more than Wemby's health, of course. So that's the most important piece. But I think this year is basically done for them. I mean, they could maybe make a push. I don't really know what else to really say about this year for them. But again, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. This is his second year. You want to do everything you can to have him long term. You've got a long future ahead with Wemby. You don't have to worry about trying to do anything right now. And I don't think they were in a position where they were going to go all the way even after the blockbuster trade that they had. But I don't think they were even going to try to go all in on somebody. There was a report from Chris Haynes that De'Aaron kind of fell into their lap. They weren't trying to make a move like that, but he put pressure and said he wants to get traded. He said he basically wants to only go to the Spurs. So they were like, well, damn, I guess we have an opportunity to get one of the good young point guards. Let's go ahead and get him, pair him with Wemby, see how this looks, and maybe build around these guys going forward. And they were able to hold on to their guys like Castle there. So that's a win-win-win for them all around. So I think that they weren't even trying to have that expedited timeline. And while there's some urgency a little bit for some of the guys like Chris Paul, I don't know what happens with him. We had a comment earlier about whether he seeks a buyout or things like that. I'm not really sure what the future holds for him. I would assume that he probably doesn't. They like him there. He likes to be there. And if you're Chris Paul, I know you want that ring. Personally, I know you want that ring. But at some point, man, they just, my God, so many teams. I don't know. But yeah, I don't really know personally like how it looks for him, but overall, I don't think that the Spurs were in a position where they wanted to try to do anything crazy. So I don't know that this is the biggest blow for them. I want to pull up the future draft picks that they have as well. I think they might have a draft pick this year as well. So it may be better if they just, I mean, they're going to lose a lot of games now, even with De'Aaron there. It does suck for De'Aaron because he wanted to make this move to try to win, but it's only this year. They'll be fine next year. So, but I do wonder if they've got a pick that they can use to turn into something, whether it's a new player or put it together in a package. So let me pull that up here. Let's see what we've got. The 2025, they own their own first round pick this year. They've got ATL's first round pick too. No protections, huh? Oh, interesting. And they've got their second round pick this year. And next year they got swap with Atlanta. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. They've got a lot of options with this team. And in terms of strength of schedule, the Spurs for the rest of the season have the 11th hardest schedule remaining. They've got a matchup against OKC, 2 versus Cleveland, a 1 versus Boston, New York, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets. So they had basically a top 10 hardest. Look at the Lakers, by the way. Number 1 hardest schedule. Tied with Phoenix, by the way. Number 1 hardest schedule remaining at this time. Man, it really sucks if you're the Lakers for blowing those last 2 easy games. But anyway, back to the Spurs. 11 games, or 11th hardest. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it may be in their best interest to maybe just let their guys get healthy, notably Wemby, and just go next year. Because even if they make the push, they're not going to do anything. They'll be a play-in team. They're probably not going to get out of the play-in. You could argue whether or not that's good experience for some of their younger guys to get that. But other than that, I don't really know that they need to do anything here. Michael Morgan, would Dylan Harper be good on the Pels? I think he'd be pretty good anywhere. I'd love him anywhere, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely. If they could get him. 1 second here. We're going to get back to more of the chat here in a second. Okay. Let's see. Pray for Wemby. Yes, it sounds like he'll be back stronger than ever next year. So that's good. Really feel for Wemby, man. I hope this is more of a Brandon Ingram situation and not a Bosch situation. I believe Ingram had blood clots. Yeah, we talked about that. And yeah, I think Bosch is the extreme. Obviously, it's not the same situation. I don't want to speculate on what Bosch had. It's been so long. Part of me thinks it might have been lungs or something like. I don't know what it was. It's been so long since but he wasn't able to come back from that. He was not able. That effectively ended his career. I don't think he played again. So yeah, that's obviously the extreme, and they're not expecting it to be anything close to that. They've said that this is just something isolated. Basically what they were saying was that he played in the All-Star game, and he was fine. He started to feel like, what's the word? Unwell. He started to feel some pain, I guess. He wasn't feeling like himself. And that was persisting. So they did tests and they were like, oh crap, there's a blood clot here. We need to deal with this. So that's basically what happened. So it's also great when you find those things, of course. So it's good that they were able to find that and take care of it. But yeah, they're expecting it to be more like a BI thing, thankfully. I understand how it works. I think everyone knows that Braun wants to stay in LA, especially with Bronny on the team. So it would have to be a package deal. That's another piece, of course. Meds and perhaps surgery, scary stuff. More Popovich tanking to get a draft pick. No, they're doing the right thing here. It's just the last time they had a great, big man that had to sit out for a while, they got another great big man afterwards. Isn't that how that went? I'll trade Luka for him. For who? Wemby? Yeah, I think probably I think anybody would trade anything for Wemby, right? Stop Chris Bosh from hooping. This changes everything. Yeah, like I was just saying, I don't remember Chris Bosh coming back from that. That's crazy. Doesn't look like Luka's 100%. I'd actually prefer he sits until he gets ready to go fully. Yeah, they're gonna rest him today. I think that after that, the minutes restriction's fully off. They're gonna give him all the burn he needs, and he obviously isn't fully 100%. He sometimes is running, and he's got like a grimace going. I don't know if he's dealing with some pain, if that's typical Luka. I haven't watched him enough to say otherwise, but I just think he may just be a little out of shape. He wasn't able to really work out lower body, which is ironic because that's the main knock on Luka. But he wasn't able to even do cardio, so he's got to get it back into basketball shape. Can the Spurs capture the flag? Well, can they get that low? Let's see the standings. I mean, I don't think they will, right? I don't think they will. They got to do a lot of losing to get towards the bottom of this. Some teams have been preparing for this their whole life. I mean, look at the Jazz. Like, you don't have to get all the way to the bottom. They flatten the lottery odds a good bit, but it's going to be kind of hard for them to get to where they've got a reasonable chance at it. Yeah, I mean, but also it's a lottery, so anything's possible there. Who knows? Or it's the ping pong ball. Excuse me. Anything's possible. So we'll see what happens. But I guess technically it's possible. I would just not expect it. Yes, I was going to also bring this up. Due to the new restrictions on games played, similarly to what happened with like Luka, some MB, some of these guys, they weren't all-stars, but that's always been the case. But the new CBA limits your awards at the end of the year to where you need to play in 65 games or more to be eligible for awards. So Wemby is not going to be winning DPOY this year. He's not going to win anything else. All NBA, blah, blah, blah. He's not winning anything. So he's not going to be eligible. So that's pretty unfortunate for him as well. But again, he second year of his career, I'd expect Wemby to still win a handful of them things. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him. I think Wemby will still win a handful of those things. And I think the odds are now saying Jaren Jackson is the odds-on favorite to win. So that's interesting. Thunder CP3 gonna come back. That could be fun. That could be fun. Should I take Triple J for DPOY? Like I was just saying, the odds are saying it. I think he's got a good case to be made. He's also been a consistent force on a top-seeded team. He's played in, I believe, every game for them. I think there's a good chance he wins it, especially without Wemby. Got him, OTR. Oh my god. Is there a path that is CP3 buyout, Cam Reddish wave CP3 to the Lakers? I mean, I guess anything's possible. I just don't know that it will happen. They could get 2 top 5 picks next year. That with that ATL, yeah, that's why I was like, that ATL pick, that's kind of interesting. Well, they were these last couple games, but they were playing games without Luka or AD high times, and they were winning those games. So it'll be a mixed bag. It'll be a learning experience. We'll see what happens. They're gonna have the hardest schedule. So Bosh had a pulmonary embolism. God damn. Jesus. Goodness, man. That's why I said I don't want to speculate. It's been so long, dude. It's been like, what, 10, 12 years, something like that? It's been a long time. 10, 11 years. It's been a long time. I sent the Wemby messages way before we saw the ESPN clip. That was definitely comforting news. Yes, yes. Do you think any NBA team will get Bojan? Yeah, I saw he got waived, but I also saw that he's going to get surgery, right? So if that's the case, no. That's why he got waived, right? Cooper Flag. A lot of LeBron stuff. Where's LeBron going? Luka not out tonight. Yeah, Luka's out tonight. He's not playing. Not playing back to backs. Yeah, they're taking it slow with him. But yeah, I'm the Wemby piece. Like I said a couple times, I'm excited that he'll be better off for it in the future, of course. And while this is a blip, they weren't really trying to do much this year anyway. They really weren't even trying to make a big trade, but that one kind of fell into their lap, so they had to kind of pursue it. And they'll be better off for it, and they know what their direction is now. I think next year they'll truly try to be competitive and really, really buy in. And I think they'll put what they need around these guys to make a run for it. I don't know what it is, a championship, playoff berth. I'd assume it's more the latter, but I think they'll really try that next year. And with Wemby back and him and De'Aaron getting more time to get their chemistry in line, not playing games right now, but just being around each other, spending an off season together, practicing, all that stuff, I think they'll be, and then having De'Aaron from the start as well, I think will be big for them too. All right, guys, so we are going to wrap there. I want to say thank you, everyone that tuned in to this NBA news dump stream. The only thing I didn't cover here was the Mark Williams thing, so if I have time, I'll get around to that in a video. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.